hanging by their thumbs. Welcome Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert.
Good evening, I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, and welcome to the American Cinematheque's tribute in honor of the director who I think is the greatest filmmaker of my generation, which is, of course, the greatest generation.
And I want to say this line directly to Marty. If you ever have wondered why a couple of grown men would go and see 5 movies a week, 52 weeks a year, for 24 years in a row with Roger, 22 years in a row for me, it's because about once out of every 260 times I get to see a Marty Scorsese film, and I mean that sincerely.
Marty got me off to a good start as a film critic. It so happens that I was the first film critic in the world to write a review of a Martin Scorsese film. And that was back in the autumn of 1967 at the Chicago International Film Festival. An independent film had been submitted to the festival by a young, completely unknown director who came out of the New York University Film School. And it was originally titled I Call First, although a few years later it was released as Who's That Knocking at My Door? This first feature was pure Martin Scorsese from beginning to end. From the high voltage of the rock and roll on the soundtrack to the passion and energy of the central performance by an unknown young actor named Harvey Keitel. Well, I'd only been a movie critic for a few months, but watching this movie, I knew that I was in the presence of greatness. I went back to the office and I wrote a review in which I said, among a lot of other things, that within 10 years, Martin Scorsese is going to be the Fellini of the American cinema. Now, Marty, why I said that, I really don't have any idea, because your style then and now has absolutely nothing to do with the style of the great Federico Fellini. But what the heck, I was just a kid, I was starting out, I was learning the ropes, it was my first film festival, and it sounded good. Anyway, the next morning, the review comes out on the paper, and the same day I get a call from New York, and he says, hello, is this Roger Ebert? It's Martin Scorsese here. Says, this is a great review. This is my first review. This is really terrific. This part about how in 10 years I'm going to be the American Fellini. Geez, do you think it's going to take that long?
At the tribute, the focus tonight is going to be on Martin Scorsese, of course, film director and film preservationist. But Marty Scorsese is also a first-rate film student and teacher, and I've always felt like a pupil in front of him. And one of the concepts that he first taught me, one he learned from another teacher, is the concept of the master image, a single shot within a movie that carries within it the impact of the entire film. We interviewed Marty, and I asked him if he could come up with a master image for his entire career, for all of his films. He selected the title sequence from Raging Bull and added that he felt that whether it was a boxing ring or the kitchen or the streets of New York, that this was emblematic of the human condition.